በስመ አብ ወወልድ ወመንፈስ ቅዱስ አሃዱ አምላክ። እንደ ቆመ የሚመስለው እንዳይወድቅ ይጠንቀቅ። አንደኛ ቆሮንቶስ ምዕራፍ 10 ቁጥር 12። በሃይማኖት እንኑር ጽድቅና እውነትን የመሰከርን።
In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. I hope everyone is doing well, and I'm excited to be joining you guys with a new series that we are planning to do for the next several weeks. In the new year, our new year resolution should really be taking the time to understand and learn further about the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahido Church. With that in mind, the next several weeks will be dedicated to really understanding what is the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahido Church all about. We'll begin by the topic of God and what it means to believe in God and what the word faith and believe actually mean. Then we will transcend over into the doctrines, the faith, the canon laws, and the traditions of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahido Church. I hope everyone will be engaged and excited to be learning about these throughout the weeks. And as always, I want to encourage you to go to your home church and learn further about these topics from our church fathers, a priest or a deacon, that could explain these topics in greater detail. I pray and I hope that you find these videos that we are posting up very enlightening and that you take something positive out of it. With that being said, let's go ahead and start tonight's discussion about faith and belief and what it means in Christianity. When we talk about faith, we've got to understand what faith actually means. The Bible defines faith as something that requires to believe in something without actually having it been proven. Many people wonder why God cannot show himself to the rest of the people. And people say, once I see God, I'll be able to believe in him. But this really shows the fact that people are not understanding what faith and belief actually means. Because the Bible explains faith is the ability to believe in something without seeing it. You see, if we saw something, it's no longer faith, but it is recognizing whatever we've seen. For example, I am here, you guys can see me over the video. Because you see me, you don't believe that I exist, you recognize me. You say, aha, that's Dawit. We know this guy. And you are able to recognize me because you see me. Now, if I told you that I have an older brother, for those of you guys that don't know me, you have to take it by faith. You have to believe me. And that's what faith is. Because he's not right next to me, you don't know him, you don't know who he is. So you've got to take it by faith that I have an older brother that may or may not exist. For those of you guys wondering, I do happen to have an older brother. But the point is, when it comes to religion, we say we have faith in God because we're able to believe in him and have confidence in his existence without even seeing him. And that's what faith requires, is the ability to believe in something without actually having it been proven to you. With that being said, it's not blind faith. When we say we believe in God, it's not blind faith because God has given us extensive clues for us to kind of restate or strengthen our faith in him. So he has given us clues so that we're able to have confidence in believing in him. What are some of the clues that he has left? He has given us, for example, the concept of existence. even in physics and science tells us that when something exists, something has to cause it to begin to exist. This is known as the Kemal cosmological argument, and it's the statement that says for everything that begins to exist, everything has a cause. So in order for one thing to come into existence, something has to cause it into existence. For example, if you and your friend happen to be walking from school to your house and you pass by a park right next to you, and as you're walking, you see the park and there's nothing there. There's nothing on the park, and you see that and you go home. After a few hours, you come back and you see a ball sitting at the park. So you ask your friend, hey, where did this ball come from? And your friend seriously looks at you and says, the ball appeared out of nowhere. Would anyone believe this? No, this is silly, obviously. Why? Because balls don't just appear out of nowhere. Someone had to place that ball into that park at that particular time. Now, if we have common sense when it comes to various objects in this world, like this ball that we're giving for an example, then we've got to ask ourselves, how does an entire universe appear out of nowhere? Clearly, this is a statement that just doesn't make sense. In order for the universe to appear from nothing, that requires more faith to be an atheist than to be a non-believer. As one philosopher once said, the concept of saying that the universe came out of nothing is worse than a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Because in the case of the magician pulling a rabbit out of the hat, at least you have the hat to begin with, and you have the magician not to mention. But in the case of the universe, we are saying that literally the universe came out of nothing, by nothing, and from nothing. But we know that that's just not possible. So even looking at the creation, we can have confidence that God does indeed exist. There are several examples that we can give in order to kind of strengthen our faith in God. And the other one is conscience. And I don't want to get into this in detail because it gets a little too complicated. But have you ever thought why we have conscience and why we feel like certain things are right and certain things are wrong? If you do feel like certain things are right and certain things are wrong, which is just about everyone, then we have what's known as objective morality. We have a standard for recognizing what is right and what is wrong. And if there is a standard, we've got to ask the question, who put the standard there? Why are certain things objectively wrong across the world? It doesn't matter whether you're in America, in Africa, in Asia, wherever you are in the world, in Europe, it doesn't matter. Wrong is wrong and right is right. And now if there's no morality, if there's no standards, then why do we feel like it's wrong? A famous atheist by the name of Richard Dawkins said the following on this topic. He said, there's at bottom no design, no purpose, no evil, no good, nothing but pointless indifference. According to Richard Dawkins, who is an atheist, according to him, there is no wrong, there is no right. But clearly, in our hearts, we know that certain things are wrong. We know that certain things are right. And we know this because there's a standard across the spectrum, across the world. For this reason, we can say that that standard is there, and we know that someone put that standard there, and we're saying that God is the one who put the standard for morality across the world. So we have what's known as objective morality. The other method that we can use in order to verify the existence of God is through history. We know that through history, people at various times and various points in history, people have believed in some sort of a God. Now, where does this come from? Everyone at some time or another begins to ask, why am I here? Where did I come from? What is the purpose in life? Now, even though science attempts to answer many of the questions within the universe, we've got to understand that science is attempting to answer how the universe works versus religion is attempting to answer why the world works. Science answers the question of how does it work. Religion answers the question of why it works. It gives us a purpose, a sense of belonging. And this is what God can offer you, a purpose in life. With us being connected to God, we feel like we're genuinely happy. As most of you guys know, programs like AAA for the Alcohol Anonymous Club is known for having various steps in order to get through alcoholism. And one of the steps within that is to be affiliated with a higher being. Of course, they can't call it God, but we know a higher being is essentially God. And through history, mankind has been obsessed and kind of pulled towards the idea of God, to the point that scientists are beginning to say that we have a God DNA embedded within us. And that just basically says the same thing that the Bible is saying. The Bible told us we were created to worship God. So if it is within our DNA, it just verifies what the Bible has been saying for the past 2,000 years. And that is, we have been created to worship God. So whenever we turn our backs on Him and we walk away from God, we feel a sense of emptiness. We pretend to be happy. We pretend to be smiling, but inherently we know something is wrong. We are unhappy. Why? Because we were designed to be with God. We were designed to worship Him. So whenever we try to follow our desires of our body, which is only temporary, and we walk away on God, we are not genuinely happy. So this hopefully will help us understand that unless we are with God, unless we're living a life with God and with Christ, then we cannot truly be happy. I hope you guys found tonight's video enlightening, and I hope some of you guys learned something from it, and I hope to see you guys next week. I pray and I hope that everyone will have a great week.
ሰይጣን ሊፈትነን አሁን ቀርቧልና ክርስቲያኖች ጽኑ በጾም በምስጋና በሃይማኖት